Well, everybody, it's Sunday. I'm bored, so instead of working down on the Studebaker today, I'm just going to mess around on the 41, basically. So that's why I'm up here. I brought a bunch of tools and stuff with me to work on this stereo, or not the stereo, yeah, the stereo, speaker wire, extra. My glare's like crazy right now. Power testers, heat shrink, soldering gun, and I also brought the new gauges. I did finally get them. They actually were real quick. I messaged the dude on eBay and he goes, listen, we got a warehouse in America. We'll ship you one from there. And he did. Got them in like 5 days. Awesome. Not going to get with those right now. What I'd like to do today is try to find a power and a remote. And it's easy to find a ground. You can ground anywhere. For the stereo to get it on. And then from that point, I don't know if I'm going to do the tweeter, the speaker, and the crossover, I think that's what they're called, in the door, because let's face it, 1941, when it rained, it just went all in the door. That's the name of the game. So my other option would be to mount the crossover like in the kick panel and then run my wires into the door, which would probably be smarter because I can put my tweeter here and I can put my speaker in the door, of course. And I do have cones to keep water from getting on them. But again, the crossover. So, and what I mean by that is like the doors didn't really have sweeps on them back then through here. They were felt, so water still got past them. It wasn't rubber like modern cars. Water hits the window and rolls off on the body. It don't do that in the 40s. So you sort of have to protect all your speakers and everything in the car. So, but anyway, if you're still watching and you're wanting to see what I'm doing here, like, share, and subscribe. And also swag, stickers, any of that stuff helps the channel, and it doesn't go to anything other than more car stuff, better cameras, period. I don't waste your money on stuff like stupid stuff. You know, I'm not going out to eat on your money. That ain't happening. I don't do that. You guys are kind enough to watch, so I'm going to try to do everything I can to make it better for you, the watcher. And that's where, you know, your views and everything that generates me money goes to you. Back to you through, you know, viewing, whatnot. But let's check out these gauges. So the interior of this car is red and black. So I said we need to continue with that theme. First of all, this kit is 5 gauges. It comes with all of your sending units. This is your oil pressure, water temp. This is actually like a crank trigger, but I ain't using that. I have HEI in here, and it has a spot for tack, so that's what I'm going to use. This even comes with your very own fuel pump. So this tank is like a boat tank. It don't have a sending unit in it. It don't have a spot for a sending unit that I can see. So we're going to put this sending unit in it very carefully. But I said it's got to be black. It's got to be red. Of course, as you can see, it's chrome right now. Hold on 1 second. But anyway, yeah. So black face. Uh-oh, don't get me kicked off the internet. Black face gauges with red lights. RPM built in, turn signals, and high beam. So literally, all your modern amenities are right here. Now here's the thing. I also said, I don't want a speedometer cable. Why? Oh God, I hate working with them things under there. So this is GPS. Comes with the GPS hookups and everything. The only thing that's a drawback from GPS is they're about half a mile off. That's it, which isn't really a drawback. So all the rest of the gauges are like that. I have temp oil pressure, volts, and fuel. This, I actually, this is funny. So these are $198, the whole kit, on eBay. I'll put the link in the description to the same guy I bought it from, okay? Because he was awesome. He worked with me. He did his thing. If you order from him, you should probably message him and ask him to ship you one from the warehouse in the U.S. instead of him, which is in China. So, you know, it takes it from 2 months down to, 5 days. But anyway, this was $198, but he had a thing that said offer. I offered him $150 and he took it. So I paid $150 for 5 gauges and all the senders. I'm more than happy with them right now. I don't know how good they work. We're going to find out for sure. But for $150, if half of it works, if the fuel gauge and the speedometer works, I'll be pretty happy. Get out here, dog. Dogs outside, puppies. Yeah, but I brought up speaker wire. This is like 20-foot probe to test, shrink solder. I was thinking about going live on YouTube, or not YouTube, but TikTok, but I haven't figured that out yet if I want to. And there's a million other things in here that need to be done. But the first thing I want to do is try to get that stereo on. And, yeah, go from there. So I got to find a remote, an accessory, and grounds are easy. So let's get to that. Well, it's going to be a pretty easy day for me. Actually, this is a newer style, like do-it-yourself harness. So here's all the radio stuff. In fact, there's a light, the radio light, which I don't even know if this harness has a radio light. I wouldn't see it having one. Those are speakers. Gray is definitely not going to be a radio light, no speaker. So yeah, no radio light. No biggie. Don't need it anyway. So it's literal red, yellow, black on this harness. But on this harness, yellow is my red because it's accessory, and orange is my hot, which is yellow. That's nice. Man, my camera's like blowing out from that. But yeah, there you go. Orange is all the time. Yellow is accessory. And on this one, my yellow is all the time and my red is accessory, which is hilarious. Focus. Constant power. Yellow. So, snip them, solder them to the harness. Make sure it's got, it's got room for days. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So I got everything all wired up and everything. So turn the key on, accessory as if you're driving. There's the power lights. It takes a little while to turn on, but booyah, golden. I do actually have an antenna on here. It was on the car factory, I guess. It's probably not factory, but it's factory now. Anywho, but I don't have it hooked up right now to speakers, but it is finding stations And it is working. We don't have that many stations in Kentucky. Who listens to the radio anymore anyway? That's where it'll basically be set the whole time. No joke. But key off, stereo off, golden. That's got that working. Now I'm going to start worrying about speaker wire, because, or not speaker wire, but speakers, because I'm not sure how I want to hook it up yet, or where I want to put the door speakers. I would have liked to have been in the very bottom corner, like right here, but as you can see, that's not going to happen. So I'm thinking here, but it looks like that is in the dead center of the black and red, which I do not want to disturb. So I'm thinking like down here now, which it'll be in a good spot, really. It'll be right there. It'll be out of your leg area, so your leg's not covering the speaker. Your leg would actually have covered most of this, but it won't cover right here. And as far as tweeter goes, look, it's like Plymouth New. They're going to put a stereo in here later. So the trim hangs down about that far, which gives us right here for a tweeter. Golden. Now that the radio works, I'm just planning out my speaker situation here. The plan was to run these are the crossovers, like in here, inside the panel, whatever. But after looking at these, which they do have holes, which I could probably put some silicone on or something. But actually, I'm not too worried about it, because I'm thinking if I stick these inside the door over here, none of the water is going to get to it, because most of the water comes straight down. Or if you're driving, it goes backwards. It will never actually come forward. So hopefully I can just stick these with some double-sided tape on here, and it'll be good to go. These are already, labeled and crimped and everything. I'll probably put some heat shrink over these on the tweeters and the speakers. I'm going to have to extend the speakers, because wherever I put it, the speakers are going to be way down here. So it's never going to reach these little wires. It's a good try, but most people have them where they're just, you screw them in yourself, which either way, it works. Yeah, these are Hyphonics is what I'm putting in here. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to extend the speaker wire to go to the sub is what they're calling it, but the speaker. And then the tweeter should reach. It's got wire on it. You see, and there's the tweeter. It's got wire on it, so they should be fine. I'm choosing these ones. There is a couple of different options, but I think this one will be the best to go under the door frame right here. It'll sort of blend in with, the black part of the door there. And of course, those will be getting painted black along with the dashboard. But yeah, I figure if I can get these in here somewhere, I might even have to put them upside down enough to where it clears the door jamb. If I have to cut this off a little bit, no big deal. But yeah, that's definitely where they're going. So I'll use that for another day. As for today, though, that's what I wanted to get done. My light's just going nuts on me here. It's doing whatever it wants to do. It's probably getting ready to die. Oh, no, there it is again. But I don't know what these are for. I haven't the slightest. They look like they're for the tweeters, but at the same time, yeah, they're for the tweeters in some capacity. Actually, they might be what grabs the door panel to keep them from moving. So I've never used these kind of speakers before. I will have to get some double-sided tape. Anywho, now that the stereo's working, that's a good thing. And the next part, I'm going to go back here and work on these door seals. So now that the stereo's done, what I want to do is these door seals. As you can see, they don't exist. It's just old, nasty crap that I'm going to hammer and chisel off of there. And I ordered some new stuff. This is, foam rubber with 3M backed seal. I ordered 39 feet of it. Hopefully that's enough. But we got to do all around here, the whole top edge, down around both sides, and it actually seals the door on this side. Seals it right through here. So I don't know if this is gonna seal it good through there unless I put it on this side, like right through here, and I let it smush against this. So we'll have to do a little experiment, but for now I need to chisel off all this old crap. And yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare. So let's get busy. So I'm probably going to have to bring a wire wheel up here and clean these, and then probably some acetone, because that stuff just does not want to stick, like at all. It is really dirty. So yeah, if it don't stick, there's no point. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to waste about 1.5 feet of it. It was cheap. It don't matter. I think I paid $16 for 39 feet, but either way, that needs cleaned. Hit with some acetone. I tried window cleaner, so it didn't work. Yeah, so let's move on over here. We'll chisel this off, and we'll probably be done for today. It's getting real cold, so I don't like doing anything in the cold. Let's knock this side out. Alright, Monday fun day. I now have the power cable. I have the ground cable too. It's over on the bench, the battery. I still have to do this side's running boards. The other side's pretty much done. Drill them, put bolts in them, done. What I want to do today though is I need to put longer heater core hoses. The one up here is no problem. It's that one back there in the darkness. Right there, focus. But yeah, right here is another one. It's got to be longer. It goes to the back of the intake. Yeah, sorry, I just come from down the hill. Freaking been out there twice getting cameras and soldering and everything like that I need to do for the heater box, which is what we're working on today. And anything else probably. I'd like to get the battery box made and welded on the frame. But yes, heater box. This is heat and AC from eBay for $130. I don't remember. But yeah, heater core lines go on one side, AC lines go on the other. I don't think our AC lines are going to be long enough to reach from like right here to in here. So we might have to have some lines made, unfortunately. But as for today, yes, this is our starting point. Getting that under the dash, battery box if possible, maybe even power. That would be nice too. But I don't want to mess with this side yet, so that way I'm not flopping over this fiberglass. There's fiberglass running board while I'm fighting in and out of the cab to get this heater mounted underneath the dash. So I do know these two knobs need to come out because there's two knobs on there that I'm going to put in their spot. So let's get busy. I'm going to clean up all this stuff and all this stuff first, and then we'll start working on how to mount this unit. Well, I was trying to keep the little vent door up there, but it's not gonna happen. The reason being is the heater box fits perfectly between here, so it's coming out. Got them out. It'll work perfect for the setup. So gonna unbolt this, get rid of it, get rid of the arm up inside, and start working on mounting our box right here. Alright, I've been working on getting this all set up, and I'm getting ready to weld the two supports that go to the back. Gotta level them out, weld the back of them, so that way my mount will stay mounted. I actually moved all the wiring up above that, so it actually helped the wiring look a little better. I am going to have to move the relays for the blinkers and hazards. Other than that, it's going pretty smooth. I lost one of the original brackets and had to make one, no big deal. I still got the cross support bracket for this. It's over there in the mess. But, so I'm getting ready to, I'm going to weld these across the top, or across the bottoms, to where it holds the AC unit real good. And then from that point, I'll be working on trying to get the hoses hooked up, which is going to be fun. I don't think the AC ones are going to work at all, but the heater ones should work fine. No big deal. Alright, I got the heat AC box mounted under here. These are the switches for them. Appears that there's only one power wire and a green wire that I believe is the fan switch to make the fan kick up harder. So it's all mounted. There was no real room to show you with the B-roll what I was doing because I was all the way up under there. But now I'm changing out the hoses, putting longer ones on. This is 1/2 inch here and 3/4 in the back. Or is it 5/8? I think it's 3/4. 1/2 inch one's easy. The problem I'm seeing is the actual part I gotta hook up to the heater is like over here. And my holes are over here. And it's kind of like, you know, a hard turn in. So it shouldn't pinch. The lines are relatively soft and pliable, so hopefully it works fine. So I just now got done doing the heat and AC box. It's a heat box right now because the AC is not hooked up. Yeah, so though it's clean and looks nice, that was a pain in the A. Let me tell you. Put the little switches up there. Those are actually supposed to be like diffusers, so you can put vent hoses, but we just hook them up this way and say screw it, so that way you can just straight in the cab. Honestly, if you wanted to run them up in, it ain't gonna happen. There's not enough room. Nope. But that's done. That took all day. It was a fight. I haven't got the wiring or nothing done on it yet. I literally just have it installed, so I gotta have power and everything, which I was planning to do today, but I'm probably not gonna. I'll be honest with you, that kicked my butt. I've been upside down in this cab for, what time is it? Oh, for 5 hours now. Almost 6. I'm toast. I'm aggravated and everything. So I'm going to put the breather and everything back on under here. This will be all back together. Done. Then, only thing I have to do is tighten up the AC lines. And we're probably going to need actual AC lines made to go through the firewall to the box. Because that's all we got right there. That's it. The AC box was out here, you know, over there. So it stuck out 2 foot. So that's about it for me today. I'm pretty beat. But as Young Static says, I can't even remember right now what he says. Any progress is better than no progress. I believe that's what he said. Or pudding. Sitting on your butt won't get your project done, which this ain't my project. This is somebody else's project. I'm just building it. Or as Vice Grip Garage says, who knows? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to what he says anymore because it's gobbledygook. But, you know, good show. Good show, old boy. Let's put this air cleaner back on and be done for today. Go eat some tacos and burritos. Alright. Today we're going to be building the battery box. Getting the battery hooked up. Maybe even getting this thing fired up. That bad boy right there beat me like I was Rihanna and it was Chris Brown. That's how bad it whooped me yesterday. But yes, today, battery box, powers and grounds. And at that point, should be able to start this thing. What's left here? The compressor, it'll shoot out a bunch of goo, of course, out of the compressor motor. I'm not really worried about that. It's got to be refilled anyway. I don't have the electric fans hooked up yet. And not really worried about that because I'm not going to run it for a long time. I just want to run it, you know, start it. Because if it starts, that means everything's hooked up right and I ain't missing a bunch of plugs somewhere. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one today. But we got to make a spot down here, grind a spot off, weld a nut to hook the ground. We've got to connect the power cables together and run them all the way back. And I got to build a battery box, not a battery box, a battery holder for the battery in the bed. So, yeah, we'll start with fabricating the battery holder for the bed back here. Which usually what I do is I just set the battery in the angle iron and then, you know, make it. And we're going to put it right here. That should be a fine spot. Be plenty of room between the bed, bottom of the bed floor. And I'll try to make something to hold it into place, or I'll go get something. Either way, because I got to get radiator fluid anyhow to put in this thing. So, another trip to the store. This has 2 wires still need hooked up, which I'm going to find a straight power, and then I have to figure out what the green wire's for, which I believe it's to kick the fan up higher. Or then again, it could be the AC compressor switch to kick the AC compressor on when you turn the button on. So, I have to find them, hook them up, and what else do we got to do? Let's go over here and look on the board, because I haven't even looked at the board in forever. Let's see here. Gauges don't have yet. Taillights don't have. Battery cables, I got them. Getting ready to do that today. Hopefully running today. Heat and AC is in. Where's my marker? There it is. Heat and AC's done. Battery and cable, got them. Fluid should be today, or running should be today. Bleed brakes later. Running board, that's half done. So, we need to work on the other side today. We'll work on this today, maybe. Should I say this week? This week. Yeah. We're getting dangerously close. Fluids. Bleed the brakes. Yeah. There's something on that tip of that marker. Yeah. But we're almost there. So, let's work on this battery and everything else. Anything we can get done today, let's work on it. couldn't see what I was doing, I welded and bolted the ground down there, hooked up the power, ran the power down, which right now it's just hanging loose because I'm going to have to weld the running board legs on, the supports, whatever you want to call them, before I can zip tie them, because there's literally nowhere to zip tie them except to them running board supports. So no big deal. Got it ran all the way up through here and whipped around. Basically you couldn't see any of this other stuff I was doing. It's too tight with the big old body in there. Oh, hey, look at that. I'm eating for 15. Yeah, I'm getting ready to hook the battery up. Made sure the ignition switch was off. And we're going to see if it does anything at all. Hopefully it does. So this isn't fun right now. I have the battery and everything hooked up. Hit the key, nothing happens. Now, the fuel pump is kicking on. The relay for the starter is clicking, but it is not starting. So, I don't know if I have something under here wrong or something under there wrong. Either way, I've been looking for about an hour already, and I just haven't figured it out yet. I did hook up the gauges, and every time you press the key forward, the park brake light comes on, which is weird. The high beam switch is on, which is weird, which leads me to believe I have something backwards or something on the column is messed up. Sorry, I'm drooling real bad right now. My niece gave me some Warhead powder and it's freaking killing me. Anywho, the headlights and stuff come on and, you know, everything like that, but I don't know why it won't start. So I've looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. Then guess what I did? I looked some more. But baby, we got V for victory. What? Okay, give me 1 second. This plug I've been searching for like 2 hours. 3, 4 hours. Yes, it's been 4 hours. It was stuffed back in here so tight you couldn't get it out. Finally got it out. Guess what? It runs. It runs just like Taco Bell. You know what I'm talking about. If you eat at Taco Bell, it runs, baby. So, no gate, no cluster hooked up. Runs. Victory. It's real loud right now because the air cleaner is off of it, but total victory. Oh, I'm done with that for today. I gotta go get a shower, clearly. Now that I have this bad boy running, I can go back through and fix everything I did yesterday, which was pulling the fuse panel down and all that wiring mess. Actually, I might leave that down and test the gauge. I got a couple in the house. I do have my radiator fluid, so I can put it in. I've got to fix all this wiring back that I've undone. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on before we do any more recording. It's just fixing everything that I messed up yesterday. Well, not messed up, but undid. No big deal. Just redoing what I've already done. Nice. So what I'm going to do here is a bit of an experiment. This is a crappy eBay gauge. It's electric. And I'm going to hook some wires to it. And I think I got the pin out for the 94 S10. So what I'm going to do is try to hook it up to this gauge and see if it'll actually read. Because if it will, I can just unpin the actual plug that goes to the back of the cluster and wire in simple electronic gauges like this, which I have an oil and a water temp, but the water temp's in Celsius, so that's not very good. I mean, it'd technically work. If it's in the middle, it's in the middle, so it's working. But this is an oil. We've got a temp, and let's see here. What else do we need? We need a volt, and then we'll need a fuel. But for now, we're going to try this. If this one works, we'll move on to the temp and try it, see if it moves at all. I'm going to wire up the basic 3 wires, a pink, a brown, which is tan. Okay, let me re-say this. Pink, black on the other harness is your signal. Or no, it's your power. Tan, I don't have tan wire, I got brown. So brown will be our positive and black is our ground, of course. Or some version of that, I don't remember exactly. I'll check it again, I got it on my phone. But we're going to crimp some ends on here to test this, and we'll find out. Well, that seems to work. So oil pressure works just like that. Volts and temp should too, but I still don't know about fuel. We'll have to find a fuel gauge to sacrifice and see what happens. But that definitely works right there. I can't press the throttle right now. It moved a little bit, but that works. Well, that experiment seemed to work. I don't know if it's in the right spot, but it's not jumping or anything. It's just staying at exactly 50 pounds. Usually they float up and down, but it does work. So I'll shut it off and see what happens here. Shuts right off. So it appears to work, though there is 2 tans on here. So it could be one or the other. But it definitely seemed to work. Let me see if I can't set it down somewhere. Yes, okay, here we go. Right back up to almost 50 pounds. Alright, so I had to fix the brake switch on here. It was just a bad brake switch. $7. Replaced it. On, done. But now I'm working on the headlights. And in order to get the headlights to go through the housing and to the actual harness, it's got to go through this little hole right here. You probably can't even see it. There you go. That little hole. And it's about this short from actually being to the harness. So I'm just going to make an extension to these. These are pretty long themselves, but I want them a little longer. So I've cut the colors that actually correspond with the harness. Tan low beam, green high beam, and black is your ground. Now I know somebody's going to say, well, that green's awful thin. Well, these are only thicker because they're copper clad aluminum. So this is being an actual, full copper, it's stronger, so it'll, handle it more. So that's going to get wired to this, which I have marked already. High, low, ground. And for some reason they always give them to you straight black. But I'm going to cut these in half, cut these off, solder these on, and do the same thing to the other side harness. And then I'll have to solder them in the engine bay, and we should have headlights at that point. I just got to make sure when I solder these, or the harness to the harness in the engine bay, that I already have the harness plug ran through the light, I don't know what you'd call it, housing. Because if I don't, this will never fit through the hole. So that's what I'm doing right now. Nothing special. I actually solder shrink all this stuff. You can wire nut it. There's no problem with that. Most of the stuff gets wire nutted and taped every day anyway. So that's what I'm doing. Put you on the time lapse. So what I've had to do here is I actually had to loosen this entire headlight piece up to move it up and back because the headlight wouldn't go in. So yeah, got both headlights in now. Wirings ran through. I just put a blue wire in here because I'm going to have to go get a little light bulb socket and everything to go in there, like that side. That's your turn signal. So basically that's all I got to do there. Now I got to cut the plug off of these and wire them to the headlights, solder them and everything, which is going to be fun because there's no room at all. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's not been a very productive day, but it's been a productive day. I mean, headlights are in. It is only Tuesday. Headlights are in. Wirings ran through. I know how to wire it. Easy peasy. I replaced the brake switch. I fixed all of the headlight or the wiring mess I pulled apart yesterday trying to figure out why it wouldn't run. I tested that gauge, so it works. Which you're seeing all this. I'm just listing it out. The fuel line was leaking, but I just tightened up the compression fitting, and it's fine now. So, what is it? What time is it? It's 6:30. Yeah, this will probably be it for tonight. I'll come back out tomorrow and finish wiring the headlights, do the tail lights, put that running board on over there. This stuff shouldn't take long at all. Then I need to weld this running board supports on and bolt this running board on. And at that point, it'll just be literally figuring out gauges. I still got to find a 3-wire electric fuel gauge, if that makes sense. But yes, that's still got to be found. Yeah, and just get some gauges, wire them up. I think I can wire them straight to the harness in there, and they'll work fine. Easy peasy. Then I just got to make the inner fenders, bolt the fenders on the rest of the way. And I got to figure out this AC system. That's it. And this bad boy will be done. So hopefully by the end of the week. Alright, so I just finished up the headlights. Low beam, high beam. So those are done. I haven't done the turn signals up there yet because I have to go find another socket like this one that'll take a little single bulb. But I'm going to move on to the rear tail lights, which I think are going to give me a bit more problem because they're only 2-wire. Now they ground through the light themselves, but we got a bulb and 2 wires. And we need a running light, a brake light, and a turn signal, at least. Well, that's 3-wire. So I don't think any of these bulbs are like 2 ways. Even if they were 2 ways, you would still have 2 wires. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Unless I turn one to a running light and a brake light, and maybe the blinker will work off of the brake light. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure this out. I've never used these before. We usually use trailer lights, round trailer lights, and they seem to work fine. So I have to figure this out first. We might not even be able to use these at all. Or I might even have to add a bulb to it somehow. Or even another, like, I don't know, a light or something. So we'll have to figure it out. Alright, so it's going to be pretty easy now. All that matters is a running light and a brake light. 2-wire, running light, brake light. This is running light, brake light socket. The black ground will just get cut. You put a loop on it, whatever they're called, a ring, and you nut drive that to the frame. Same with the other side. The ground does not connect to the light. The light is actually ground through the bracket that is through the body. So that's a complete circuit. Now up here you'll have the other two will be the brown and the yellow. One's going to be your running light and the other one's going to be your brake light. Your brake light's going to be your brighter one. Just remember that. So when you hook this up, this has a big bulb and small bulb. Running light, brake light. That's how I'm going to do it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip one of these wires and then I'm going to see what function it stops doing. And from that point I'll know on the other side. Well, there was a miscommunication. No, this isn't going to work. I'm going to have to cut these off and I'm going to have to run out to the owner's place, and he thinks he has some of these two-way terminals. This is a single terminal, one wire. If he has a two-way, it'll be going in here. So that way he can have running and brake and then a turn signal. That's all there is I can really do right now then. I can't do the other side because I don't have the sockets or anything. So yeah, we'll have to move on to something else. I will probably mount this side's running board next. We are waiting on the gauges. They have to be delivered. They're being shipped out. I send them to them. And then we'll work on the other side, doing the same thing, making the running board mounts over there. Other than that, it's the inner fenders over here and the sport that goes across, bleeding the brakes, and pretty much done. So that's the standstill we're at this moment. So the taillights are done now. I figured out exactly how to do them, and what it works as, how it functions is the top little light is your running light, the bottom is your brake and your turn. Now here's what happens. When you hit your brake, both lights come on, right? But when you put your turn signal on, whichever way you're going, so if you're going left, the actual brake light cuts out and it just blinks. So it works. That actually works real good. So loving it. Done. Headlights wired. Done. I got to do the turn signals. I'll have to go get them later, little LEDs. And I have to wire up the fan temperature switch. I'm going to get the probe style, put it through the radiator, so that way it's easy peasy. There's really nowhere to get to any of the ports on the sides of the heads in the water jackets to bolt in the actual sender, so the probe's easier. Yeah, once I get these little LEDs to put in here, I can put them in, put the headlight actual covers on, because you can see there's no covers, they're just sitting there, and then those will be done. The gauges are on their way. We had to order a set of electronic gauges, so I'm going to be cutting up this actual harness plug for the original S10 gauges and wiring them to fit, which while I'm here I want to measure this, because we might be able to get gauges in there and put the factories back in here and it look cool. I got to put the surround on the steering wheel, no big deal, 5 seconds. Bleed the brakes and put the running boards on. Do the back arches, and this baby's dead. I know I keep listing it out just because I'm getting close so I don't forget anything. I'm sure I'm going to list it 20 more times. But that's what has to be done left. Oh, and I still got to bolt up all the fender all the way around. It's got like 3 in it right now, so I have to go around and put more bolts and nuts in all of them. And not doing the bed floor, that's Potter. Windows, Potter. Interior is going to be Daniel Smith at, what's the name of it? I want to say it's Smith Craft. Here local in Barville. He's killer. But those will definitely be happening. He's going to do the door panels too, because carpet ain't it. That's for sure. We'll take him the truck. We'll probably literally take it straight from my house to Daniel. He'll do it there, and then when he's done, we'll be done. But I'm kicking. It's going fast, and we're about done. Get paid on this. Pull the 41 back down here. Work on it a bunch, and when it'll be ready for car show season, and then we'll figure out after that what's next. So I'm gonna say this as a warning now. These fiberglass running boards are totally for show. I don't mean to show off, I mean show. Do not step on them. These are like, yeah, you see it bend? Yeah, it's literally, there's no support there. You would have to put a steel plate under this thing in order to make these usable. So don't step on them, especially back here. This thing is even worse. So yeah, totally for show, but they definitely look slick on here. As I did, I made a straight line as much as possible, and that's how I wanted them. 2 bolts, 2 back here, 2 up there. They look great, but again, totally just for show. Well, this is pretty much the end of the week, and I didn't work yesterday because it was cold, snowing, raining, and flooding everywhere. Yes, Kentucky. And today it's sunny, 50 degrees, flooding everywhere, and nice outside. So that's pretty much it for the week. Got the running boards on. Guess what? Gonna have to take them back off. You know why? Yep, that's right. Because they actually need support, and he wants to functionally use them. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Headlights are done, taillights are done, motor runs, radiator's full of fluid. I've got to bleed the brakes. Here we go with that list again. Bleed the brakes. I've got to do the electric fan. I've got to put in turn signals in the front. Fix the running boards. And wait for the gauges to get here and install the gauges. Other than that, oh yeah, I got to do all that stuff in the rear too. Finish bolting up the fenders the rest of the way. Weld the inner fenders on. Put the center support on. We'll be done. So I am hoping, I am praying to the car god, the small block Chevys in the sky, the LS's that just don't die, that this will be done next week. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace out. I'm done. I'm not even looking at the camera right now. It's hard to focus on this camera, but I'm done. I'm going in. Let's get out of here. I'm going to let you dissolve into the beard.